We'll set a big pen right down here. These fish will just go.
On today's show, there's a new reality TV show in town, one that follows the lives and struggles of Minnesota's commercial fishermen. They catch fish that sport anglers don't want, and they call themselves the bottom feeders. Ever hear the term bowfishing? Well, it's a fast-growing sport in Minnesota where folks go now in big boats with bows and arrows and bright lights. Laura Shera tests her luck in the cover of darkness.
So get it?
Today we're getting wild.
Coming up, Laura goes wild in the kitchen, this time testing a recipe perfect for venison. The name says it all, beer-braised wild game. And our Minnesota-bound classic this week focuses on a bird called the Killdeer. You'll notice that bird when it tries to fool you with its broken wing act. Those stories and more, next.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's Select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, if there's a fish in Minnesota that most folks aren't interested in, it could be carp or buffalo or sheephead, fish like that. But for folks who do fish for them, catch them with nets, why, they've become big TV stars, believe it or not. Travis Frank has the story about the bottom feeders.
Lurking on the bottom of the Mississippi lies a catch so rare,
Yeah, I guess I was wrong on that.
viewers around the country tune in each week
Jeff, you might as well go after them.
to see if it can even be caught.
Make some noise up there, boy.
They call it the Big Haul. 500,000 pounds of carp, suckers, and buffalo. If caught, these bottom feeders will net good money in a New York market.
Always an interesting time out here.
Tim Adams, a commercial fisherman based in Wabasha, Minnesota, has chased a big haul his whole life. His livelihood depends on it.
Yeah. As soon as he gets that tied, I'll pull this out and get it tight.
Following his every move, Jeff and John Bergman, owners of Minnesota-based Big Time Entertainment, a production house responsible for the new hit reality series, Bottom Feeders.
For most Americans, these bottom feeders have no place in our lakes.
In a nutshell, we just follow the daily struggles of these guys that make a living commercially fishing for carp and, you know, for bottom feeders, for carp and suckers and catfish and buffalo and sheephead and, you know, whatever they can catch.
Unscripted, their plot changes like the winter weather they fish.
A remote-controlled submarine pulls the guideline 600 feet to position the net.
From their Sweet and Pine River,
Bottom feeders powered by
the Bergmans show the truth behind this brutal job.
Let's get this show on the road.
Today the sun shines, and Tim's sonar has revealed a large school.
When I pulled up here and first started picking up, all I could see in the water was just a massive school of carp, buffalo, biblical proportions.
Placing miles of net around the school, Tim hopes to trap every last one.
Hey, come out! Stop! Stop!
But
Just go slow. There it is, boys. Same as before.
he's been sabotaged.
Look at that.
A metal pipe intentionally placed has cut Tim's nets.
Blades cut on there so it cuts the hell out of our net.
If the fish find the hole, they'll all be gone.
What's going on, Tim? It's another one of them things. Metal.
Now the drama unfolds.
You can't keep good fishermen down, can you, Jerry?
It's as real as a reality show gets. We don't script any of it. We don't ask them to redo stuff. We don't ask them to, rarely do we ask them to stop doing what they're doing. The fact of the matter is, most of the time these guys aren't willing to stop because this is their livelihood.
You know, you're trying to produce a show and you're trying to get unique angles and you're trying to capture the story, but at the end of the day you realize that TV is not their living.
So I just quick fix it here and then we're ready to fish, you know? I mean, they think driving half a dozen posts in the water is gonna stop us. They're dreaming. We'll set a big pen right down here. These fish will just go right in there.
Still hopeful, the crew works fast. One pull at a time,
100,000 minimum.
the net draws close.
We're making a prison for the fish. This is a huge haul. This is a big one.
Daylight fades and the suspense builds. Then a boil.
The big haul! Finally got the big one.
500,000 pounds, maybe more.
What does it feel like to have a 500,000 pounds of fish pulling on you there, Junior? Pretty good, don't it?
But there is no time to celebrate.
Come on, go over by Jeff, I said. I don't know why you guys can't just listen.
Today, a big haul
I'm gonna yell at you when I need to yell at you.
and a big payday. Tomorrow, they set the nets again.
I can't pull. It's so, I don't know, there's mud.
Such is the life
Come on, you dirty dogs.
of Minnesota's bottom feeders.
We're going to be shooting about this far.
Coming up, Laura Shera joins one of Minnesota's finest bow fishing guides for a night on the water. Will she connect? We'll find out.
Right down low.
Oh, he moved.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers. Kinetico, Radco Truck Accessories, and by Starkey Hearing Technologies.
Coming up, if you have insomnia, do I have the story for you, okay? Daughter Laura Shera discovered bow fishing for carp, and it's all done under the guise of darkness with a big light and, well, a steady aim.
So this is the boat we're using this evening, and obviously this looks very high tech. This is not something you see every day.
No, it's not. This is a custom-built rig. It has LED lights that you can see all the way around the boat.
Not your typical Minnesota walleye boat, that's for sure. And not a fishing rod in sight.
Tonight we're going to be going out and we are looking for giant carp. These fish are very destructive to the environment of the lake, and we're going to be fishing for them in a new, unique way, which is really sort of an old way, is we're going to be using bow and arrows.
I hope he has enough arrows.
We specialize primarily in new persons, first time on the water, first time hunting experiences.
Clearly, my guide Kurt has a passion for bow fishing.
I got started years ago. A friend of mine introduced me to the sport. I think it's unique and it's different.
Different for sure. We were waiting for the sun to go down. Yes, carp hunting is nocturnal.
We're fishing tonight what basically is a custom G3 boat with fishing decks that are on top of it so that we can be elevated above the water. We're also using LED lights sneaking up on the fish, so to speak. The arrows are attached to a line which is attached to a retriever, so when we shoot and it goes into the water, the line will allow us to reel the fish back in.
For the blue heron, the sun setting meant its day of fishing was ending. Ours was just beginning.
So have you do is go ahead and take a couple of practice shots real quick. We want to do this a few times because we want to get you really comfortable shooting before we actually start. We're going to be shooting about this far underneath the fish in front.
Got it.
And then you'll watch your arrow just take off with the fish. Or as we call it, the arrow will dance.
I'm ready to see an arrow dance tonight.
Little did I know, dancing with the carp usually included a few missteps.
See him down there?
Shoot it?
Shoot. Ooh.
Missed it?
Missed it.
Oh, darn. All right, that was strike one.
Remember, it's about an average of 10 shots for one.
The night was young, and my missteps were adding up.
Right there. There's one. There's two of them. Shoot. Look at right in front. Look at that monster.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I said to Mr. Carp, I can do this dance.
Right down low.
Oh, he moved. Darn it. At least I'm in the vicinity of the fish.
Then I remembered, you have to aim where the carp isn't.
Did I get it? Oh.
Well, first time people out on the water find it sometimes in the beginning a little frustrating because the fish look like they're right there, but they're not.
Now I was ready. More carp, please.
Oh.
Darn it. Did I get it? That was like Moby Dick.
Under the lights, carp were everywhere. Other lake critters too. I was gliding over a real-life Minnesota aquarium.
Look at that old dinosaur.
Quietly, I waited for one more shot.
Got him!
I got him,
You hit him! He's a monster! Maybe we still have him.
Oh, we've got a fight on our hands, folks.
Whoa! That's a big fish.
Oh my goodness, I can feel his strength at the end of the line.
That is a monster.
Oh.
Look at that. The size of that
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
He's just a monster.
That is unbelievable. That is my first fish with a bow. I can't believe it. This is honestly is such a fun sport to be out here at night and to see what you can see and then to land a fish like that.
So now I know what bow fishing is all about.
It's a monster. It's a beast.
Lots of missed shots, followed by one moment of jubilation.
That is unbelievable.
All under a night and starry sky, dancing with the carp.
The secret ingredient is beer. Today
Up next, Laura Shera is back in the kitchen, this time prepping a recipe for wild game.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
Time now to go wild in the kitchen. Laura Shera is again joined by Chef Paul, and this time they have a great recipe for big game, elk, venison, you name it.
Today we're getting wild in the kitchen with Chef Paul from Firelight Grill House and Cocktail Bar. And Chef Paul, I understand we're making beer braised lamb shoulder?
Absolutely. The very best way to handle this really flavorful cut is to braise it. So that's what we're going to do
We're
today.
gonna braise it, but you could do elk, you could do venison shoulder, bear shoulder, you name it.
Zebra, whatever you were out hunting, this is the way to handle the shoulder.
All right.
So the first thing you do, we're going to season it up.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with some salt, dry sage, black pepper, and some thyme.
Okay.
So if you'll mix that up, and then what I want you to do is to just simply rub those spices liberally all over that shoulder.
Okay.
You're going to take that shoulder and set it down inside a deep pan. And then we're going to add some mirepoix, simply some onions, some celery, some carrots, a couple of bay leaves, and some diced tomatoes. We're going to add about a quart of water to this, and then the secret ingredient is beer. Today we're using fire brick, Shell's fire brick. So now we want to just seal it tight with aluminum foil. So we're going to put that in the oven, and we have the oven set at 325. Depending on the size of the shoulder, it could be as short as 3.5 or 4 hours, or it could be as long as 6 or 7 hours. So it's been about 5.5 hours. So how we're going to know whether or not our beautiful shoulder is done, you can see that the bones are releasing, how tender that meat is. You can see that it's just coming completely apart. So now let's go turn this into a roulade. Then now all we want to do here is to go through, and we're going to take the bones off.
Bones
and
off.
throw them off to the side. A lot of cartilage, a lot of fat in the structure, but that's what yields the flavor. The larger the chunks, the better. Now we are ready for the final part. So all I'm doing here is I'm just seasoning it with a little kisses and love, salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Then I just take simple plastic wrap, and we're going to take it, and I want to make it, so I end up with trying to judge, so it's going to be about 2.5 inches or so in diameter. And then I just fold it over and start to roll it up. And it compresses it. and I tie off the ends. As it cools down, all that gelatin that's in the meat seals it up. So now I take this beautiful roulade and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and I'll be ready for the next day.
So our lamb is chilled overnight, and we have it all wrapped up.
And now we're ready for the final dish. You cut it, and then we're just going to take this and we're going to sear it in a good hot pan. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan, and then we're just going to sear that first side, flip it over to brown it, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. So all we want to do is get it warm inside. After about 8 minutes in the oven, we're going to take that shoulder fillet, put it on the plate, finish it off with a little maple balsamic jus.
Thank you, Chef Paul, for another easy and delicious recipe. And here's to getting wild in the kitchen with beer braised shoulders.
Still ahead, have you ever wondered what that broken wing act is all about in the life and times of a little bird known as the killdeer? You'll find out.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Jesse Treble Foundation Systems and Safe Basements Waterproofing, Grand Rapids Tourism, and by the Minnesota Agricultural Water Resources Coalition.
Time now for our Minnesota Bound Classic, and it's one of my favorites because it reminds me of a boyhood encounter I had with a killdeer. Ever hear of the broken wing act? Okay, I went for it. The sound of birds, songwriter Carly Simon once wrote, stops the noise in your mind. Very doubtful she was referring to this bird, the killdeer.
The killdeer name, it's from the call that it makes, killdeer, killdeer.
This bird plays with your mind. Just ask my grandson Jake.
I just think she's faking or something.
Indeed, she's faking a broken wing, an act she's made famous.
Well, the killdeer, if approached by a potential predator or human, will kind of struggle off of its nest, looking over its shoulder, dragging its wing, spreading its tail to make a predator think it's almost ready to die. And so instead of looking for the nest, the predator then follows the killdeer, thinking it's going to get an easy meal. And then just at the point the predator gets close, then it flushes and goes a few more feet, and then it starts over again.
And lots of us have fallen for that act. I was a boy walking along when suddenly this bird jumped up in front of me with a broken wing. That's what I thought anyway, so I'll catch it. A broken wing? I'll catch that bird. So I went on, and then suddenly the bird flew away. Didn't have a broken wing. Not surprising, the deception still works for a very important reason: survival of the nest and its eggs.
They will nest on very sandy, gravelly sites like the edge of a parking lot, and they just make a very shallow scrape in the ground. They line it with pebbles, and then they lay 4 eggs, which are pointed at one end. And so all 4 eggs point inwards so that this small bird, the size of a robin, can cover these 4 huge eggs. So it's kind of like a little puzzle they make. They have to turn the eggs just right.
The eggs will hatch in roughly 28 days.
The killdeer chick, when it hatches, is called precocious. That means it's ready to leave the nest within 3 hours. So as soon as it dries out, it's ready to run.
And surviving, all thanks to Mama Killdeer, and to those of us who've been duped by a bird with a bird-sized brain.
If you see a killdeer doing the broken wing act, probably the best thing to do is follow the killdeer, because that's going to lead you away from the nest, and it probably makes the bird feel good that it's tricking you.
What kind of sound did it make?
No, that's ducks.
Well, let's not be so sure. Could be another act of killdeer trickery. Watching that killdeer always amazes me how wild critters have adjusted for survival, and the broken wing act seems to work for them. That about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sherrill, and of course, always the star of the show is Raven. Yes.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.